Come on. Drop.
Hello. Anybody home? Hello, hello.
Okay. Are you ready? Here we go. All right. Live from Houston, Texas, it's Ginger Cook and that famous sidekick bear, Sammy.
Hey, Sammy. Glad you joined us. Look at that. What's he got on, John?
He's still got that outfit on. Well, he's helping you do your finger painting over the weekend, and then it looks like he's doing something elfish, should I say?
Elfish. Oh, there's something going on there. Hi.
No telling what that bear's up to.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
It's just so weird to talk into a camera and just assume someone's there. What if nobody's there?
Well, I'm here to tell you there is approximately 99 people currently.
Why? Hi, 99 people. Hi. Just how fun is that?
Thanks for joining us.
We're live on Monday nights. It's kind of a fun thing. We're going to be painting a Van Gogh tonight in acrylics and talk about brush direction.
Brush direction.
The brush direction, in other words, whether you paint a brush stroke this way or diagonal, all means something. Now, you've got to think about it, like the old cartoons. You remember the Roadrunner, for instance. Remember the Roadrunner cartoon? And when they wanted to make the Roadrunner go, zoop, they had the little lines behind him indicating fast, fast, fast.
Yeah.
Well, there's certain lines that indicate action in our brains and indicate something, and you've got to think of your brush direction as the grammar of art. If learning to paint a chair or a table, would be what, nouns or something, think about art as a language. I want you to think about it as a language. It has nothing to do with talent. A good idea is talent, but the skill to paint is just a learnable thing like French or English or German or anything else.
Well,
you can add it to your language.
Okay.
Add it to your language skills. And so therefore, now I'm going to take all the mystery out of it. All right? So I'm going to take the mystery out of it. So everybody, I think sometimes when I get art, because I do a lot of personal art coaching, and I get paintings back, sometimes the one thing that people are so worried about getting the right color, or can they get the shape of a palm tree, but they don't understand brush direction, and that's everything. All right? That's everything, because if your brush directions, if you're painting water, for instance, and you want to say that you have a waterfall, you've got to paint the water going up and down. If you paint it going sideways, going down a waterfall, it will not look like a waterfall, all right? And this is something to kind of keep in mind. And also backgrounds say things, skies say things, all the different directions that you're going to do, and whether it's just sort of a neutral brush direction, it doesn't indicate anything but just a solid color, okay? So that's what we're going to talk about tonight, and this is the painting that we're going to be doing. Are we doing a picture-in-a-picture with this, John, tonight?
Well, as a matter of fact, I'm just updating that now.
So this may be a picture-in-a-picture. This, originally, a Van Gogh was a very tall vase. The original Van Gogh was taller. I wanted to do a horizontal for YouTube, but this is actually, if you look it up in one of these paintings by Van Gogh, this was actually a vertical. But what I liked about this painting was the beautiful red. Red and greens are complements. And for those of you who are, new to painting, and you say stuff like that, and you go screaming out of the room, going no words, no complicated words. Compliments, if you think about like pals, all right. Think about, instead of, if I didn't use the word compliment, I'd say they're friends, all right. They're close friends, like intimate friends. So when you paint, and they're opposites, kind of like sometimes in a marriage you'll see people that get together that are opposites. So on a color wheel, which we happen to have sitting around here somewhere, of course we do. I love that, don't you? Oh, here's one, yeah. On a color wheel, all right, I'm going to hold it up. You see, red is opposite green on a color wheel. You don't even have to memorize it. Just go buy one, right? Turquoise is opposite orange. And so when those colors go together, and trust me, football teams have figured this out. They've professional football teams.
Highest buffering or speed we can get.
All right, well, let's lose the
We've got
picture
to do something. Well, it's not on right now. I turned it off.
So we're still buffering?
Still buffering. It's starting to pick up again.
We're starting to pick up again. Okay, so
hang in there, guys.
Hang in there. We're buffering, but we still have it. So we do or we
don't.
So what we want to do is start off with some colors. I'm going to tell some colors. If John, you would be so kind as to, and in case you're wondering who John is, John Little is our, the executive producer of our show. He's the founding member with me, co-founding member of GingerCookLive.gallery. He's the guy that builds the websites, holds the auctions, does all the technical stuff, answers all your computer questions if you're a member of gingercooklive.gallery, and is our general tech wizard, and nobody could do a live show without him. So there we are. So we have him.
With a hat that big, I can't even fit in the room anymore.
I know, it's kind of hard, isn't it? So that's who John is. We have a few moderators. Is Wendy around?
I don't know.
I think it's Kim here, Wendy. Anyway, when our moderators.
Wendy's in. I see Wendy.
Hi, Wendy. Our moderators, volunteer. They do this, and what they do is they keep the trolls out. Sometimes there's people. They see here. There's a live class, and rather than participate in the joy of all you guys getting together, chatting and talking about, your dog's okay or whatever threads you've been carrying on all week with the different live classes and stuff that you're talking about, they come in to disrupt you. And so our moderators just make sure that doesn't happen for you. It's and also, if you've asked a question, if you have a question, if you'll put it in all caps, we can see it better. We'll try to answer questions during the live show. For those of you who are just tuning in and you're wondering, what is all the chatting about? There's going to be chatting. Just letting you know, right?
Yeah, write it now. If you don't like chatting, turn it off.
They're not going to like it, because we're going to chat. I'm going to show you step by step. You're going to learn some stuff. You're going to probably learn so much stuff in any of these videos. But also, people are going to ask questions. You're going to learn other stuff that I wouldn't even begin to think to answer. We're going to play some games. We're going to play a little game of Stump the Artist with some dice here.
Die.
One die.
One die.
Okay. So, you know what's sad? We bought those red noses, and we were going to do a Thursday thing last week, and then just totally forgot. So, all right.
But we did donate. We donated to the cause.
No, we all bought noses. Sammy and John and I each had a nose, and we forgot to do a live show for you. All right. Let's put some paint out on the canvas. Kind of flip the canvas.
Let's drop down to the canvas, shall we?
Drop down. We're using Dazzling Purple. We're going to be using ultramarine blue, phthalo blue. Now, somebody wrote and said, please put a list of colors out ahead of time. If you've ever watched anything I do, it's the same colors, you guys. It's always the same colors. If you have my palette, you pretty much have the palette. I don't, if I was going to introduce some weird color, then I'd tell you, but it's the same colors. Phthalo blue, if you're using Liquitex, it's a green shade. Otherwise, everybody else just does a phthalo blue. An ultramarine blue, if you're using Liquitex, I'm using Matisse, it would be red shade. And then we want, we want a yellow oxide, and some brands call that yellow ochre. It's not quite the same, but close enough. We want cad yellow medium, which we've got right here, okay? And sometimes I think he used something called cad yellow deep. That's a color, yellow's a primary color. In other words, red, yellow, and blue you cannot make. You can make a green, so you can red and blue make purple, but you can't make red, you can't make yellow, and you can't make blue. So if you're going to just spend your money at the art store, buy a bunch of different yellows. Really, because for instance, cad yellow light, you can't dump a bunch of white into cad yellow and get cad yellow light. I have a video called Adventures in Yellow on YouTube. I will iCard that as tonight so you can see it. If you're not sure, watch that. Watch the Adventures in Blue, Adventures in Yellow, Adventures in Red if you haven't seen it. Because I go through all these colors that, rather than buy every tube of paint, I did. And then I showed you what they did. So you can decide which colors you might want to add to your repertoire. You like that, repertoire?
Ooh, repertoire.
Repertoire. Sounds good, right? So as I'm putting these out, Naphtha Crimson, that's your primary red, all right? That's definitely primary red. So I've got a little red cap. I've kind of put a little red on the cap so I'd find it too. That's good, right? That's your red. Cad red medium, that's your orange red. And that's a bright, I use that probably 99% of the time. I hardly ever use Naphtha Crimson, but I use Cad red medium a lot. It's more of an orange red. And let's see, I think we said we wanted burnt sienna and burnt umber. So here's some burnt umber. And that's your dark brown. That's a very nice color to have. That's a good color. There's a lot of burnt umber in here, and there's some burnt sienna in the vase. So those are kind of our two, browns that we're using. So we're going to put those out here. And just kind of going through that. We had a really fun weekend. If you didn't catch the finger painting party that all of us did on Saturday, my daughter's Cinnamon Cooney, the art Sherpa, started it out about 1:20 on Saturday, and then we folded right into Angela Anderson, and she did a really beautiful finger painting flower. And then I went ahead and did a saison in finger paint. So here was our saison. If you haven't seen that, this whole thing, I promise you, was done with finger paints. Just with my fingers. Really, it's a cool cool idea. If you haven't got a chance to see that, I suggest that, you might really like it. And just for fun, let me show you. Here's the original Cezanne, and here's mine. And mine was done with finger paints. I think that's not too shabby.
Oh, I think he did finger painting too.
So anyway, that was really fun. I think it was a fun thing to do. Sometimes it's fun to be lighthearted. I've got a surprise I'm going to tell you about for Wednesday, and I'll think about that as I'm going. In the meantime, I've got a little 8x10 canvas. I have sprayed the back to stretch it so when you hear my drum.
Looks like your one corner's a little flaky too.
Yeah, look, see, this is a little wrinkled. So what I'm going to do is just dip a clean brush into water and push the water back into these corners like that, and that will shrink it, because you're talking about cotton. A canvas is cotton, and if you're, I learned how to shrink clothes really early on in my life, right? Hot water shrinks cotton. Back in the day, do you remember how people say that? Now, people getting older, because I always tell you how much better something was, right? But there was everything shrunk. Everything was 100% cotton, and you had to really watch it. It would all shrink, okay? So now, it's everything. Most things are blends. See how those wrinkles just disappear?
Just like you ironed it.
Yeah, just like you ironed it. Okay, so, yeah, that was the other thing.
That extra yellow you have out there.
This extra yellow is called a yellow deep. And you see how it's almost an orange yellow. All right?
Okay.
It's called yellow deep.
And then next to that was the yellow light?
This is an optional color. You could get perfectly by without it, but it's kind of nice. So I put it out there. So now let's see. We want some white, and I'm using a titanium white. And I don't think we're going to want any mixing white. I put it on the thing, but I don't think we're going to want it. So I'm just going to put like a row of white out there about down to the end of this tube. So we'll see how we're going. Now, I think we need a fast underpainting. I want a color underneath the color. And I think what I want to do is just kind of mix. I'm going to wet the brush, wipe it off on a rag. I'm using a Filbert number 10. This is called a Bristol-on. Cinnamon found these brushes. They're made by the same company that makes ruby satin silvers. This would be a fine brush to do this with too. They're slightly more expensive than the ruby satin silvers. I never actually saw any of these ever sold in an art store that I remember. And I love them both. I like the spring on this really well, but this brush would have worked fine too. I'm going to just mix a little bit of white and ultramarine blue, and I'm just going to very gently, how's that, gently, just go up and down like this. I want again, we're talking about brush direction now. So I want my brush direction to be going up and down, a little bit of white, ultramarine blue, and I'm just going to cover the canvas with a little bit of this light blue color. And when I put the green over it, some of this blue will peek through, all right? And I'm just coming up like this. Now, as I come down toward the bottom, I'm going to change brush direction, and now I'm going to go, this is where my table's going to be. Let's see, let's go all the way up and down like this. But I've got a table, so I might just sort of make something a little bit more neutral. So there's I'm not making any grooves in the record, in other words, okay? I could have used, another canvas I already had paint on, but I had the brush direction going in the wrong way, and I want all these brush directions to be going up and down so that when I paint over it, it's kind of very similar to grooves in a record. And I'm going to say that there's where my table is kind of curves around. This is what, about 3 fingers, probably about 3 fingers is where the curve is in the middle, down each corner. That's where the little table's going to be. And at that point, that's all I'm doing with this brush. And then I'm going to dry everything, okay? So do you have any questions before I dry?
No.
No. All right. So I want to again thank everybody for coming. If you're wondering, John, is this picture up there or not? People are wondering what we're painting.
Yes, it is up there.
It is up there.
It's in your upper left-hand corner.
Okay. So this is what we're painting. It's going to be a lot of fun, 8x10 canvas. This is really a simple picture. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel, we didn't realize that my watermark is a subscribe button. You know, it says cook, the watermark on there. If you push on that, it says subscribe button. Just discovered that. How silly. All right. So I'm going to take the hairdryer and dry this. I'm going to move my palette out of the way so I don't dry that. And off it goes. All right. Here we go, you guys.
All right. We turned her down while she's doing that. Wish I had a way to turn her down a little bit more, but we're in the same room, basically 20 feet apart, I guess. We've started using the new send your artwork form to us on our website. And a couple questions come through, but it seems like most people are grasping it and not having a problem with that. Appreciate that. We're going to change a couple things on how it's being done. I'll have some updated information we'll put up there for everybody who's a member of the gingercooklive.gallery website to be able to take a look at that and figure out what's going on. We do have an upcoming auction that's going to be starting very shortly. With more news on that later.
Okay, so we're back, right?
Yes, you are.
All right, so I'm going to just take a piece of chalk. And remember I said it was like kind of 3 fingers in the middle, so I'll put a little dot there, and then about an inch on each side. Just make a series of dots like that, and then kind of, that's where your curve's going to go. Just do some dots rather than try to draw the line in all the way through. Just kind of curve it like that. Now let's take take that same brush again that we had, and I'll wipe it off. And I've had it in the water, so I'm going to rinse it. And I want to show you my new rags. Gosh,
Ooh.
Ginger, it looks like an old rag, doesn't
It does look like an old rag, Ginger.
Oh, but it's not an old rag
What?
because, zoom in here, John.
Oh, let me do that. Here, I got a
Zoom in
zoomer.
here.
I got a zoomer.
Do you see this? Original Ginger Cook Imagination cloth.
Whoa.
Wow, and it's signed, and when I get some red, I'll put a slash through it, signed with a laundry marker. And
What?
we will have these available for sale on our website.
Get out of town.
And you can have one and hang it in your studio. Original Ginger Cook Imagination cloth. I mean, that takes recycling to a new level, doesn't it?
It does.
It does.
But you know how nice that would be?
Yeah,
I
so
could
there
have
you
one
go.
of those.
So that's cool. All right, so anyway, just had to show you that. I thought that might be fun. I don't know what the gang thinks about this. But, all right, so let's wipe off our brush.
Paper towels to the floor.
All right, so now I'm going to take, I want a yellow, and I want a more of a, if you look at this yellow, it's kind of a spring yellow, but it has some olive green in it. So I'm going to start with yellow oxide, all right, and a little ultramarine blue. And see, that's some real kind of olive green. Can you see that? That's close. And then I'll take a tiny bit, like less than 1% of phthalo blue, and brighten that up. A little more yellow oxide, okay? Now, what I'm going to do is just using little downward strokes like this, I'm going to go ahead, and they're not very long. I'm not making very long strokes, but I'm just keeping going down like this. And some of the blue may show through. Okay, so I want to load my brush up, make sure I have enough paint on it. Okay. Now don't panic. You're going to see some blue, but you're going to we're going to keep going over this a little bit. Tiny bit of water on the brush, very little, like just a drop.
And you dabbed it off, I saw.
And then you always dab it off on a towel. This is why we always have towels. Should have towels under your water. Okay. So now let's make the next row. So let's take a little phthalo blue this time, add to that, kind of brighten it up here. So next row of paint. Okay, we're just mixing it into there. And you know, this isn't rocket science, so you know, just at some point get some green on here, okay? How's that? And it's nice if you kind of shingle the layers like roof shingles. Okay, now I know that we're going to have the flowers are all going to be in here. Now at this point I'm out of paint. Do you see that? So I'm going to mix some more paint, because if you don't have enough paint, nothing happens, okay? That's a little too dark. Let's try a little cad yellow medium to that. Ooh, look how bright that went. See, so put a little more yellow oxide in there. Kind of, there we go. All right, here we go, all the way down to our table. Just going to come around here like this. And yeah, just kind of bring that in here. Everything down. Get some more paint here. Now, as you continue painting, we know that we've got, keep it pretty thin underneath where the flowers are going to go. You'll have less drying that way. But here's our table. I'm going to come up from the bottom like this, where my table's going to be. And if you have to go slightly lower than your table to make sure that you have that table correctly, that's okay too, because it'd be easier to paint it this way and then add more table. Does that make sense? Okay, so up and down like that. And now this is where you might take, here's a little bit of white. Got to mix that in there, just like barely touch it. Now I'm going to just kind of dry brush that over some of this. This is my next layer of color. A little tiny bit of white into this green. And so I want my streaks to all look a little bit different. That's what was so pretty about his. He even had some yellow oxide here, and just just a few little odd bits of color and kind of keep the brush a little flat and just flatten it out and get something streaky like that, because it's prettier than just a solid color. And now at this point is where you do your sides. Clean your brush on your sides. That's when you would do this. All right, I'm not going to bother, but that's when you would do your sides after you do this. Now I need to dry this before I really do much of anything else. That's our next thing, is we're going to dry that. Okay, and you can see how easy that was to paint. And one thing we might do is take a little ultramarine blue and darken the corners just a bit. Just while it's still wet, just darken the corners. That forces the eye on the inside, like that. So if we're going to darken a corner, there we did it. See, I mean, okay, pretty good, right? That's, you know, and that's pretty basic greens. All right, so I'm going to take a second to dry this. While I'm drying it, John's going to introduce you to our trivia contest too.
I am. Well, but provided I can get you turned down. You didn't turn down last time for whatever reason.
All right.
But well, give me the number. What do you got?
Three.
It's a three.
We drive
All right.
the three. This is Stump the Artist. He's going to look up a trivia question about art.
All right. No, you're not turning down.
It's not turning down?
Well, it is a little bit. I'm still picking you up somewhere. Go ahead. I'm going to say hello and see if you can even hear me over the hair dryer. I may have to wait for this question. It's going to be a win question. And, oh, this is a good one. I got a great question for you, but I don't think you're going to be able to hear it. So just kind of wait patiently as you finish drying. That one shouldn't take too long at all. If you haven't visited our website, gingercooklive.gallery, we'd love to have you come over. Oh, you can hear me good? Okay. All right. In what year was the Mona Lisa stolen from the Louvre? I have three possible choices for you. She was never stolen, in 1911, in 2004. All right. So the question is, oh, Ginger's back, so let's turn it back up. All right, Ginger, you're back?
Okay.
All right. The question is, in what year was the Mona Lisa stolen from the Louvre? Three choices. She was never stolen, in 1911 or in 2004. Da, 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 da,
okay, so I'm going to just pop in on this a minute, right?
What? In the middle of my singing?
Yeah.
The nerve of you.
Sorry.
The nerve. Go ahead if you must.
I'm going to pop in on here and just say, I think that's an interesting question, the Mona Lisa. I was around in 2000. Did you say 2000?
2004 was one of the choices.
I was alive in 2004, and it was a pretty good year. And I don't remember any news stories about the Mona Lisa being grabbed out of a museum.
Well, let's see what we've got going on with the.
Just saying, I don't remember that. I think that would have been right on. I would have been right aware of that.
Cindy says never. Michelle says 2004. Kim said 2011. James 2011. Candy 4. Frisky 11. Debbie 11. Sylvia never. Living in Phoenix. I don't have a hair dryer. Okay, that works. Tanya at 11. Never. It's all over the place.
Well, I think I would have remembered if it was stolen in the last 20 years.
Oh,
or so, 25 years.
We have a lot of new people on. So first, we'd like to welcome them.
Yeah, hi.
And then Claudia's asking, just curious, but why is everyone chatting about socks? We got on the sock folding issues.
Oh, all right. The sock folding issues. I've always said there were two kinds of artists. There were the sock folders.
And we unite.
When they do laundry, they very carefully sort the colors, fold the socks, and put them neatly in a drawer. And then there was the rest of us that had just white socks and threw them all in a drawer, didn't fold anything, just grabbed out two, or maybe had two different colors and grabbed three, and then we're bound to be right, okay? And so the joke was, are you a sock folder? And really, basically, we're saying that it's very difficult for sock folders to be anything but extremely neat, and sometimes certain paintings require mess. That's all we're saying, right?
That's all we're saying? No, there's a lot more behind this.
Well, I guess there's so.
Watch a lot of our old episodes.
That sock folders probably would be better at stained glass, because you can't just.
I was very good at stained glass.
I bet, because you can't just shove the glass into place if you're slightly off.
You have to grind it.
Acrylics is really, honestly, acrylics is the most forgiving paint ever. And,
That's why I can't deal with it. There's no strict rules. I need strict
yeah.
rules.
All right, so I'm going to show you real quick how to do this vase while we're looking at it. So my answer is, John, I don't think it was ever stolen. How's that?
Oh, okay. We have stumped the artist.
We have stumped me. It was stolen?
In 1911, the Mona Lisa was recovered 2 years later in Italy. 1911.
Wow, see, I didn't know that. Isn't that cool?
So you have learned something. We stumped the artist.
We stumped the artist.
So everybody that got that answer correct, give yourself 1,000 points. Woohoo!
Oh, all right, so I'm going to make a rectangle here.
That's not a rectangle vase, so.
It's a square. How's that?
Looks good.
Pipe down the peanut gallery over there. All right. So now we're just going to come in here like this, like that, and then we're going to just say that there's our vase like this. A little round jug, and then kind of round it off at the bottom like that. That's how we're going to paint it, right? So just try. And if your jug is a little bit different than his, he's dead. Who's going to know, right?
Who's going to squeal on you?
His is probably broken anyway, and you got the replacement. You know, he drank. Could have been broken, right?
I like that one. His is broken. Yep.
So I'm going to come about, say, let's see, about 2 fingers in the middle. That's about the top of this. Like
now,
that.
2
and
fingers is approximately 1 inch.
Yeah, I'm going to draw it in like that above the table like that. Okay.
They want to know, does the reward points that they're getting, do they get a ginger towel for that? Yes, once you collect 1 million of them in an evening.
Yeah, 1 million. Yes. Okay, so we're all right. So this is the all right. So here's where we got. You see that I've got a little brown chalk here. This is new pastel in case anybody is wondering what I'm using. All right, and so there, and this is if this were a clock. Okay, so just humor me for a minute. Okay, if this were a clock, if I had some white chalk, I could express that better.
Did you look in your little holder thingy?
I did. I don't see. Well, maybe this is white chalk. Close enough. All right. So if this is 6 o'clock, this is 12 o'clock, okay, and this is 9. It's slightly below 9 o'clock and slightly below 3 o'clock is where the table starts. How's
Looks like about 3:30 and 8:30.
Yeah, see, like that. So this is where our table's going to be, okay? I have a rounded table. Now, we're going to say, we're going to start with a smaller brush here. Now we're going to get into, here's a little angle brush. I buy these. These are 3/8 inch silver, ruby satin silver angle brushes. We get ours from the brush guys, and the reason I buy them from them, and I put 2 burnt umbers up. I didn't put out burnt sienna. How did I miss that? I thought this said burnt sienna. It did, and I was talking to you. It's all your fault. I was talking to you.
What? Because you put out the same. What? Burnt sienna? Where?
Yeah.
And a burnt umber.
I'm just trying to get the cap off here. Here, I'll just do it this way. Here's the burnt sienna. I put out burnt umber instead. Okay, so I've got a little burnt sienna. Okay, like that. And I'm just going to go ahead and start with my first layer of paint on the vase, like that, and just follow that around.
The release for this last week, oh, once again, we're buffering. I don't believe this.
Oh, the release for last week is so beautiful. See how sidetracked I get? The release for last week was,
well,
we don't have it up yet. It is. Zoom back out for a second.
I got to get my zoomer.
And someone, if you're new to us and saying, what? Every week on Ginger Cook Live Art Gallery, our Academy Fine Art website, our members get a brand new painting, and this I absolutely love this one, and I love the texture on the mug. I thought I'd get this done in time for you guys to give it for Father's Day. What do you think? I'm not sure when Father's Day is.
Next, I think it's this Sunday. I think it's Sunday coming up.
They'll have to paint fast. Sorry, but that was my plan, right?
Well, that's why they're using acrylics. They dry fast.
They dry fast. So paint away, guys. John, you're going to have this up when?
I'm going to work on it tonight if I get done with this show in time.
I tell you what it was. This was a lot of this was a fairly complicated piece. There was a lot of pieces.
It's about 2 hours.
About 2 hours worth.
And I had to break it into 8 pieces to make it bite size.
Don't you love the match and everything? I love this. This was from another one of our old dead artists that we've done before. Love that, right?
He's the same guy that did the book, right?
Yeah, the book, and I never remember his name, but
we love him.
We love him. I've got a lot of his stuff. So, all right, so we're going to come around here like this.
Oh, good. We have 2 weeks. Thank you, Gail.
We have 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Oh, you guys got plenty of time then. No whining.
No worries. You can tell them it's coming. IOU, fabulous painting. Wait till you see it.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Maybe Christmas, but you'll get it, right? All right, so now we're
That
gonna
is a
just-
membership website. If you go to gingercooklive.gallery and take a look at under the
Yeah.
Join Us, you can find out information there. It's not
We
Patreon.
have a lot of awesome videos, everything from super beginner people. Someone wrote me the other day and said, "Well, I get good enough, I'll join." We have video after video of basic painting so that you can really get caught up on all the stuff that you need to know, and then you'd advance right along. And you'd be amazed what people are doing. All right, so here we go. Here's our vase down here like that. I'm going to make it a little lower like that. All right,
Oh,
there's
very
my
nice.
vase. Now I'm going to take a little bit of burnt umber, right, like that. A tiny bit of ultramarine blue. That will darken it up.
What
a
do you
bit.
have up under the burnt umber then? If
Well, I
that's
had burnt umber in two places, so I had to move it.
they look different.
Does it?
They do on my monitor.
I think they're two different brands.
Wow.
I think what happened is they're two different brands, or, you know. Part of me now wants to take my finger and
I
blend.
saw
I
you.
can't. Did you see that? Part of me
I
wants
saw
to
you
take,
about to do that.
Again, I'm going, no, I'm not doing that anymore. That was last week. All right, so well, let's leave that alone for now. There's our vase. Now I'm going to rinse the brush, and what we've got going up through here, just up through this part, like kind of like this, is some greenery, okay, that's going up this way. And we really can't put that in until we finish the table. So let's take some white and a tiny bit of yellow oxide and white, tiny bit of that brown color, a little bit of that. Now, more white. Notice I don't do anything with this puddle. I'm over here now with the new pile of paint. And I'm going to come under here like this and kind of warm this table. I'm going to come under here like that. I'm going to say, here's my tablecloth. And it's sort of it's really sort of an ice cream color. It's like a really nice homemade vanilla ice cream.
Longwell Arts is suggesting that you might have a burnt and a raw umber on the palette.
Yeah, I think that may be a raw. I think that's very true. I think that's just probably exactly what happened here. All right, so there. Let me make sure that this is curved a little bit. Let's go right up to the chalk here, and I'll curve it. Make sure this is curved too. Now the thing about using any kind of chalk with color in it, it will mix into your paint, by the way. Just saying that. Okay, so there's our table. And we're going to put some blue and stuff there. I guess we could do that now. A little bit of blue and white, like that, and then wipe most of it off. And just in a couple places, just add some blue. Dot, dot, dot. I mean, this was very swift and fast here, right? That's what I love about his stuff. Okay, so now we want to be able to pull some of these little greenery things down here over the table. So in order for those to show up, I'm going to have the table slightly darker right here. A little bit more yellow oxide right in here, I think. Just darken that up like that, maybe over here. All right, so this is all kind of blending in here. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and dry this, and then we'll put the greenery. All right, so I'm going to dry it one more time. Yeah?
Yep, go ahead.
Hair dryer going. Should take more than a few seconds. But
Well, I've turned her
hair dryers
down.
are important.
I've already turned you down.
Get one anyway.
I have a question, Ginger. What did the masters of the 1700s and 1800s use in the making of their brushes? I'll have to ask her that one. I don't know what that one's all about. Our website, gingercooklive.gallery, for you people that are new, you folks, again, welcome. It is a membership website instead of a Patreon. You can join for a week for as little as $9.95, or monthly subscriptions begin at $21.95 for the seniors and $26.95 for the rest of the folks. And you get personal art coaching with Ginger that will walk you through it as if she's sitting right next to you.
What is the question?
What did the masters of the 1700s and 1800s use in the making of their brushes?
Well, they used like boar hair and
Yeah, I've seen
and they
that.
used like animals like sable. Some watercolor artists still buy sable brushes. Natural hairs from different animals.
Human hair?
And acrylics need a synthetic fiber, and there's synthetic fibers and synthetic fibers, and some of the best synthetic fibers in the world come from Japan. And the ruby satin silvers, a lot of those are made over there. The silver brush line, and that's one of the reasons I like it. That they're so precise. The precision on these things is amazing. All right, so you're with me
Technology.
here. We're going to take a little bit of ultramarine blue, tiny bit of yellow, make it dark green, okay, like that.
So you're up underneath our picture-in-the-picture doing that.
Okay, so we're going to come up here like that, and I'm going to just suggest some dark green coming up this way. All right, like that. Because that's our background green underneath the pot here, like that. Now I'm going to take that same green and using just the angle of the brush. Now notice I'm using an angle brush. The long end is pointed away from me when I'm going down, and I'm going to just start here and wiggle it like that, and I'm going to wiggle it like this, and then sort of, I thought it was interesting. I really don't know what kind of flowers that he was doing, but it doesn't really matter. Some of them were poppies, and there's some other junk. Who knows? Then wiggle it a little more. Each time I do one, I'm going to add more paint, okay? All right, you don't really see the top of that. There might be a little one coming over here, like this. Okay, so now I want something lighter. So if I go right into my yellow oxide, for instance, you can see I could make a lighter one. This is still pretty dark, so it's not going to show up that much. So if I take a little white in yellow, okay, now and a little tiny bit of phthalo blue, just a little bit of phthalo blue with that, make this lighter blue or green. I can come into this dark green while it's still wet and wiggle some color. And because this is still wet, it's going to blend in a little bit differently than it would if it wasn't. Okay, so we're going to say that some of this is coming down like that. Maybe I'll come back with another little dark piece next to it. Okay, and the thing when people have trouble, they're not using enough paint. And so here we go, you can see it, because the brush has to actually leave the paint for you. Okay, so let's come down here and make this a little bit more of a scoop. All right, so that's what I've got there. Doesn't really look like much at this point, but that's okay. Let's go right into the yellow oxide, put it on both sides of the brush. Now I'm going to come on top of this, barely touch it now, and just deposit some of the lighter color. Barely touch it. There you go, some lighter highlights. And while this is still wet, if I touch it too much, it will blend in. But we've got a few of the lighter ones, and then when it dries, I can go over it too. All right, so that's all there is to this. I promise you, this is a really simple painting. A little bit of yellow oxide here on the belly of the vase, and he didn't have too much going with it. He just had that and a few dark, burnt, kind of burnt sienna colors like that. And let's see, I think I'm out of yellow oxide, so I will put some more out. And
would you classify this as a one cookie or still?
This is like a one cookie lesson. This is really actually simpler than the green vase that we have. One of our favorite ones is that green vase of his on YouTube. This is pretty simple because we're going to make a little bit of yellow and a little bit of cad red medium, make a little orange color, light orange color like that, and then wipe off the brush. If you're using your brush to mix with, put a little paint, tap it off, then come up here. Let's see, we got a little bit more red with that. And we're going to lighten up the vase right here on this side. Now what you do is you wipe off the brush, all the paint off, and then you take this and use the side of your brush and just melt that in to the background, see? Just melt the edges in so that you don't see it. See, so it's a little bit lighter on the vase right there, on this nice little spot right there. That's kind of a blending trick, okay? And I might take a little more of burnt umber and darken up the vase, and maybe some ultramarine blue, and darken up the vase right here. I didn't get it as dark as I wanted it, and his was not blended, so I'm not going to spend too much time doing that either. And then take the brush on an angle like this, because he was a big fan of outlining things, and outline the table like that, okay? And right under here on the vase. Now, so then what? Well, that's pretty much all we can do there. Let's go back to red and green as complements. Remember, we talked about that earlier. In other words, they're best friends, they're life partners. Think about that, something like that. If you have a wet green and you blend and you try to paint wet red over it, what you've got is a hot mess.
You got mud.
You got mud. It'll turn muddy. So this is why I don't care if you live in Phoenix, dry it anyway. Really, keep drying. Have a hair dryer there. They're cheap. Get a hair dryer for under 15 bucks. A pretty good one with the cold thing. Dry it anyway. It makes a difference on how your paintings come out. All right, so I think I could put, like up in here, I need to dry that green, but I think I could come up here like this with some of these blue ones. And I think I want clean ultramarine blue and some white, okay? And a little purple. So I'm going to take some ultramarine blue, and purple and white. I'm going to come up here like this and using just a little dab here, dab, 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 I'm going to make that little flower, okay? So scoop up a little purple, a little ultramarine blue, a little white, like that, and make another one over here. Dab, 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 like little quotation marks, maybe a little more white on the edge here. See, let's try this side, like that. There we go. Dab, dab, dab. Now wipe the brush off, start again. Ultramarine blue, a little purple. Let's come up here like this, make a little darker one over here. A little darker flower here, and then again, repeat the process, kind of off to the side here with this one. Let's have some white on the brush too. Okay, more blue, more purple. Dab, 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 dab. Now this is just one, little brush strokes, almost like herringbone pattern. Okay, and we're going to say that in here like that is the purple and the blue. Maybe we've got a small one coming up this way, like that. And it comes down to these flowers. Now if you need to fill that in, you can. Now we know we've got over here, up here somewhere, we've got something here, and maybe a smaller one up here like this. Some sort of little smaller flower coming, barely seeing this one, okay? And let's see, we need a little white on this one, maybe on that side. Boop, 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 touch, and stop, okay? So that's all we've got with that. I'm just trying to do stuff that we can do easily. And I think I could put a few more flowers right in this section, because even if I put some red over them, that'd be all right. Let's get back into here, the dark blue. Okay, back into here like that. Okay, so that's what we've got with these. Now I've got to stop, take a moment and dry. Are there any questions I can answer before I dry?
No, but you could roll the die.
I could roll it out. Oh yeah, let's play the game here. I mean, we got some smart people out here. I'm surprised they stole the Mona Lisa. I had a lot of nerve stealing the Mona Lisa. Man, that's like sacred.
I know. What do you?
Six. That was
Six?
six.
Really a six? That's a mystery question. We know how much you love the mystery questions.
All right, I'm going to dry while John asked you guys a question. This is fun. All right, test your knowledge here.
All right. All right, we've got her quieted down, I think. It's so quiet, it's not even running. Okay, some of these are going to be some toughies. The mystery questions are always tough. Okay, here we go. Complete the total of this famous painting by Edouard Manet, The Luncheon. You have three choices: The Luncheon on the Grass, The Luncheon in the Woods, The Luncheon by the Lorry. Again, that's by Edouard Manet, M-A-N-E-T. And his famous painting, starting off with The Luncheon. Was it The Luncheon on the Grass, The Luncheon in the Woods, The Luncheon by the Lorry, L-O-I-R-E. Bum, 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 bum.
So what was the question? I want to know too. Gotta tell me. Ginger's back. What's the question?
Complete the total of this famous painting by Edouard Manet, M-A-N-E-T.
Manet, yeah.
Manet, figures. The Luncheon on the Grass, The Luncheon in the Woods, The Luncheon by the Lorry. Okay. Deborah says grass, Joanne says grass, Sean says grass, Maureen says grass, Mary says grass, Kim says grass, Janet says lorry, Gail says grass, and Debbie's grass.
Anybody want to know what Ginger thinks?
Sissy grass, Barbara grass, Lori picks lorry. Oh, that's Monet.
Okay, so while we're doing that, while you guys are thinking about that, I'm going to say Ginger says grass. I'm going to pick a little white here like this.
Grass,
put the highlight here on the...
What does Ginger think it is?
Ginger thinks it's grass.
Does Ginger know?
Well, I think I remember a painting with a bunch of people having a picnic on the grass.
What's a lorry?
A lorry is an English truck. They used to have lorries.
That's what I thought they were.
Didn't they use them as ambulances?
But why would you have one by why would you have a luncheon by the truck?
I don't know.
I mean, hello.
Okay. All right. Let's talk.
It's the grass. Those that got grass, give yourself 1,000 points.
All right. Awesome.
Well on your way to 1,000,000.
All right, so we've got some naphtha crimson now, which is our red, and we're going to start up here. I think we'll start right here in the middle, right here, about about an inch or so, right here, and we're going to make a little flower, kind of your standard little petal flower. These were pretty simple flowers, okay, like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, there's some red. We're going to come here on this one, make another one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, little flower, using our little angle brush. Now I think I have one out this way. 1, 2.
Oh, a food truck. Miss Angie had it. It was the first food trucks.
Lorries were the first food
Well,
trucks?
no, but that's what they would be nowadays.
Yeah, okay.
That's
so
kinda
now,
cool.
Then we've got one. Now these are more circular, and you see less of the round petals, but they're almost like quotation marks that kind of go together, like parentheses. All right, and then we got a little one here. This is why we've dried things. Now we're going to start filling in flowers in the middle here. So here's another one like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Don't overpaint these. Here's another couple here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 strokes, 6 maybe max. Then up here, 1, 2, 3, and you can overlap some of those purple flowers, right, like that. And there was a little tiny one up here. 1, 2, 3.
Oh,
right.
Paula Anderson's out here. She doesn't like me. I think we should eliminate Paula Anderson.
What'd you say?
John, you are a real dummy, bully, and my God, poor Ginger. Block user.
Wow, gosh. Well, there's
Sorry,
lots of
Paula.
channels to watch. And, we love John. Ginger loves John. Ginger's
So,
creative because John is a marvelous person, and he and I have a blast together, and we kid around all the times, and I would not put up with anybody that was a bully, trust me.
we didn't.
But that sounds very bullying to me. Anyway.
That was.
All
Totally
right.
uncalled for.
There's so many, for instance, let me just say that, for instance, I don't write Woody Allen and tell him I hate him, right? I just don't watch his movies.
Right. Change the channel, people.
You
You're
know what I
not
mean?
forced to
But
watch
I
this stuff.
understand that some people really love his movies, and I don't hate them because they do. It's okay, right? Because everybody has a different sense of humor, right? So now we're going to come in here with one, here, another one here. See how I'm just started putting these flowers in? Like that, and then they're overlapping. Please overlap the flowers, even if you're putting them in one brush strokes at a time. It's the brush direction that we're talking about. See, we're adding some more flowers.
Those are really bright on my screen.
Here,
Really.
like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. There was something over here. 1, 2, 3, maybe like that.
Which
Something
one are
over
you
here.
using on these? It's very bright on my monitor.
This is naphtha crimson.
Oh, okay.
Okay. We haven't put all the shading in yet, but we've got a little one right here. 1, 2, 3, maybe something like that. Little one here. Got one there, here, up here. I think I almost need one right here too, almost overlapping these. Okay, right like that. All right, so those are my flowers. They're, I'm kind of looking at mine, what I did. Now, again, a visual painting was a vertical, and I just think it made a very nice horizontal, so that's why we did it. But of course, you could make this a vertical too and have a little more of the green above it. That'd be all right. And I think I want a few little petals that fell down here on the table. Now, look, if you put a petal vertical, it's going to look like, if I did this. Let me just show you. If I did this, what is that? That means the petal just fell. That's a vertical. So don't put a vertical petal on your table because it'll look like it's, you want to say something didn't fall, then don't do that, okay? Now we're going to take some cad red medium, okay? And we're going to go on top of these. Let's see if we can do this little bit here.
I'm going to zoom in. I got to see this action
Can you
here.
zoom in? I'm going to put a little yellow with the cad red medium, make a little bit more of an orange color. And come in here like that. Let's see, let's try some cad yellow medium and some cad red medium. I want a brighter orange. I want to come in here like this. I may have to dry this first, but this is my kind of scooping this up because this is kind of goopy.
It looked like it dried out on you, skinned over.
Yeah, it's kind of skinned over. That's this goopy paint. This was that was that old Liquitex. It was goopy. All right, like that. Got goopy. All right, so I'm putting a few of these in here like that. Just 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Kind of this orange color. 1, 2, 3, and this is a little bit brighter. Like that. Just 1, 2, 3, stop, right? Okay,
Yes, that's
nothing
what you
there,
always.
nothing there.
That's one of the gingerisms. 1, 2, 3, stop.
Yeah, and then look.
And
just
that's
see
the
what you
hardest thing
got.
for me to
just,
do.
Just see what you've got. You can always, if you need a darker red, for instance, if I needed a darker red, I could take some ultramarine blue. I could use alizarin crimson too, but I could take some ultramarine blue, make sure I have a clean brush, no yellow on it, and take some naphtha crimson, a little bit of blue, and I can make a pretty dark red here. See that? See this dark, almost brownish red color? And I could come up here on these, a couple of these, and add some darker, just a few darker, petals in a couple of places, nothing too great, but I wouldn't do too much of it. But you can get a darker red if you want, or alizarin crimson. You could do that too. All right, so that's what we've got there. Can I put? If I went clear into the yellow, let's see. Let's see if I got any pure yellow left, right? Can I do any bright yellow while this is still wet? And what would happen if I did it? It's tricky because the problem is that you're blending, you're mixing right on the canvas. Does that make sense?
Is it pretty thick? It's pretty
it's
thick
fairly
there too.
Thick now.
Yeah.
So what I need to do is just stop playing with that. Right?
No, you're gonna have to dry
and,
it, right?
I think I need one more flower here, though. Let's just put another one right.
Now remember,
right
they have
here.
the picture, so they're gonna correct you like they did on the on the finger painting.
Well, yeah, that's fair. I mean,
That was
I'm going
fun.
to put another little, flower right there too. Okay. So now I want to dry all the red flowers. Okay. And then I'll come back and I'll add some centers to them and add a little more green. Does that make sense? And I'll add some green going up into here. We'll put a little more white on the purple flowers right in here. I could do that right now too. Could get as long as my brush is clean. Take a little bit of white and ultramarine blue, and come up here on these purple flowers. That's maybe just white here. There, like that, and just tap in some more, because this is still kind of goopy thick.
I like the blue.
that.
I like the blue flowers. They're pretty.
They're pretty. The blue flowers are nice, right? And just say, here's some blue, here's some lighter blue. As long as I stay away from the red, I'm okay. And I think we're okay in here too. All right, so now we're going to dry this, and then we'll come back and do some yellow flowers and some centers. And I think I had a blue petal right down here too, didn't I? Yeah, just a couple little blue petals too. I don't know about your flowers, but mine are, so a lot of them end up on the table. Just
I
falling.
noticed that on the original. I don't believe they were there, were they?
No, because
No.
I just did it, because that's what happens to me when I have flowers in a vase. They all end up there. They just end up there.
They
So
always
disturbing.
do.
All right, so I'm going to dry this, you
No,
guys.
no, no. You're gonna roll the dice first.
All right, I'm rolling
Then
the
you can
dice.
dry.
3.
3. Now I'll turn you down. Boy, I barely could turn her down that time. Okay. This is another win question. Win. Oh, here we go. We might have had this in the past, but it's one of our guys we've used before. What artistic movement was Edgar Degas part of? Cubism, Impressionism, Illusionism. Now this is, what artistic movement was Edgar Degas part of? Cubism, Impressionism, Illusionism. Boom, 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 boom. Bop, 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 bop.
So what was the question?
Oh, I have to wait till you get back. Here, I
back.
brought you back. Okay, here we go. What artistic movement was Edgar Degas part of?
Edgar Degas. Sure.
Yeah, do you want the choices, or you already know?
I know.
You should know, because we did this guy. We love this guy.
Yeah.
Okay, we have from Gail, Impressionism, and other Gail is giving us Cubanism, and Impressionism from Tina. Suzanne Press, Diane Press, Kim Sim Press. I'm having trouble painting what I see. It comes out weird. How do I improve? That's from Mary Myers. Impressionism, no clueism. No, I like that one. Get 500 points for the no clueism.
No clueism. I
Yeah,
love
they
it.
get 500 points for that.
Okay,
first.
well,
Good.
you got to remember who Edgar. Let me remind you who Edgar Degas was. He was considered the master of his time. He really was probably the best artist out there of any of them, and he was
Really?
in constant competition with. I went to a show of his, Degas, and you're talking about Degas, right? And I went to a show up in Dallas with Sim, and I went up there. his artwork, and believe it or not, Picasso and him kind of went around it. You know, he
Oh,
sort
really?
of had a competition. I don't know if they talked or what, but you know what I mean, with Picasso, but he really was a master of impressionism. He did all the ballet people, you know, the ballet dancers. He was a wonderful sculptor. God, this man could make sculptures. It was phenomenal. He did beautiful bronze sculptures, and he painted the dancers backstage and all the ballerinas and stuff. It was a really, really awesome. And some horses too. He gambled at the races. He painted some horses. Interesting man.
Interesting.
All right, we got a little bit of green. We got to keep going.
So
here
what?
too. So a
Whoa,
little bit
whoa,
of
whoa!
yellow.
Hey, Miss
What?
Artist.
Yes,
What's the answer?
Impressionism.
Oh, Impressionism is the correct answer. Once again, if you said Impressionism, give yourself 1,000 points.
All right, so we're going to go out here like this and just do some greenery coming up this way.
Oh, I like those.
Kind of coming out of there like that. Let's put a little bit of white with that, and a little bit more phthalo blue to make it more of a turquoise green color. Look at that. See, isn't that pretty? A little bit of turquoise. Now we've got this sort of turquoise green color going. As long as we've got it, let's do a little bit of that in the vase. We can get away with that now, right?
You draw the entire
wiggly
picture, right?
Yeah, another little wiggly line down here like this, and like this, like that. Okay, so that sort of kind of jazzed it up a bit, didn't it? Now I want to take a small brush and do daisies, and just the way you'd think. We're going to take white and a tiny little pointed brush, and we're just going to come up here like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't know, close enough, right? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't know, a little, some sort of, you know, just sort of go around it. You know, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one's looking this way, kind of looking up. There's not two parts to it. Here's another daisy that's kind of overlapping the red one. This is why we wanted to dry it. We didn't want any pink daisies. So you just kind of go out like a little wheel. I mean, that's pretty. And you just, the trick is you need a little brush. Sometimes it's your brush. Have you guys seen my video, Can Your Brush Do That? That is such a great video. And only because I show you what your brush ought to be able to do. Sometimes when you're not able to do something, you think it's you.
And it's not.
And it may very well be the brush you're trying to make it work with. I mean, you saw me paint with my fingers, but I could have done that painting much better with my hands. Not with my hands, but with a real brush, okay? I mean, the hands kind of work, but not as effectively. I remember years ago, back when I felt inclined to wash windows. I'm sort of over that now, but there was a time in my life when I felt that window washing was important. I'd go out there with the newspaper and Windex and wash the windows, and I'd go outside and I'd go inside, and go outside and inside and see streaks. I would just see streaks. And then somebody says, well, you need a squeegee. So I got a squeegee, and then I was going outside and inside with the stupid squeegee, right? And the squeegee was slightly better than the other thing, but not enough. Let's see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
6.
Where's my sixth one? I guess here, right?
Well, where's it on the original? 2, 4, 6.
Yeah, I'm sticking
it's
it
right
in
there.
here, right?
Yep, you're close enough.
So, anyway, then I found out that the guys, then you go by a department store or something, and there's a guy cleaning a window with a squeegee, and he's going, whoop, 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 window clean, whoop, 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 window clean. I'm going, what is the deal? I can't be that retarded. Why is it so difficult? And then I found out that this guy had a $40 squeegee, and I had a $5 squeegee, and that was the only difference between his clean window and mine. At least that's the story I tell myself, and I think it's probably pretty true. So I'm just suggesting, here, we're going to put some yellow ones down, some brighter yellow ones right here. I'm going to come up here and put a nice bright yellow one here like that. Just going to glob that on like that. And got a little yellow flower. These are pretty, these little cornflowers. There were just 3 of them, but they're pretty, aren't they? I'll put a little bit of the yellow with it too, the brighter yellow.
Do you think Van Gogh did his own?
Made his own brushes. By that time, they were big. You know, they were buying stuff.
No, his own floral arrangements.
Oh, I don't know. It's a good question. I have no idea. So I want some of this yellow stuff here in a few places. I just want a few little yellow highlights, maybe on the flowers here.
This would be what we call gingerism in action.
There you go, a little bit of highlights like that. And then I'm going to take the yellow oxide, as long as I have this little brush, and I want a few little yellow. Let's see, put some water on my brush, roll it off, and then I want some little tiny yellow highlights coming down next to these, like that. And then as long as we're in yellow, let's see, how about a yellow center on this daisy? That's good. And let's see, probably an oranger one on these. Inside of these daisies, little dots of orange. So far so good, yeah. So cute. Now a little purple, Dawsing purple. Let's get some centers going on these flowers like that. Now they all didn't have centers, by the way, because they're all facing different directions. There may be a center and there may not be a center. You got to think about that. Which way is the flower facing when I actually see a center or not? Because maybe like he didn't have centers on all of them. Okay, and just a couple. There's a little center up there like that. Okay, so all right, and I think we had a pretty good one here. Okay, and then maybe just barely something there. All right, well, there was something there. All right, so we had some centers there. See, it's coming along, right? Isn't that cute? Now, the last thing we're going to do is coming along. You've got, I'll tell you, by tomorrow I'll remember, okay? And a copper vase with... Oh,
we're buffering. Hold on a second. Hold that thought while we try to recapture ourselves. I don't understand it now. We've got 30 meg a bit upload, and we only needed 7 to do these shows.
Are we still buffering?
No, just coming back now. Let me see.
Right, so
okay, and now it's just caught up to where you are. I mean, a big chunk got taken out.
Okay, so this is what we're painting next week.
No,
tomorrow night. I lied. These are geraniums.
Those are geraniums?
Yeah, geraniums in a copper
Oh, yeah, they look like
pot.
it. Yeah.
There's the geraniums in a copper pot. So the last thing I want to do is make some more little green leaves.
Oh, wait a minute. We had a question, a real live question from Cheryl.
Yeah, good.
You mentioned during your finger painting about a woman that made brushes with her hair. Can you tell us more about her and who she was?
Yeah, she lives in Houston. She met her husband in the Peace Corps when he was in the Peace Corps, and they've been married for a number of years. Her daughter's the same age as Honey, my granddaughter. And you see I'm adding some green leaves here while we're chatting, right? And she paints these imagination. I'll download some stuff tomorrow night. I'll show you what she's painting. I really will, because I think she's just absolutely so good. And she paints these like Alice in Wonderland scenes and kind of fantasy art, but it's just stunning. And I have an original piece by her. I'll tell you what, I'll bring that. I'll show you the original I have from her last tomorrow night. Okay, I'll get it off the wall because I have one of her original pieces, and I have to say I really, really like it. All right, now I have a little hole right here, so I'm going to just fill this in real quick. Her name's Letty, and Lubega is her name. Letty Lubega.
We have a question.
That's her husband's last name or first name. I have to think about it for a minute.
Can we use liquid body paint instead?
Well, the thing about liquid paint is that you're not going to get any texture. Van Gogh was an oil painter, so yeah, technically you can use anything, really, but you're not going to get quite the results. That would be what I would tell you. Not going to get quite the results if you do that. I want a little bit darker purple here like that, and here like this. And I'm just trying to think if I need anything darker in here. A few little places.
When are we giving away the painting from The Secret Words? I'm glad you brought that up. That is next Monday. Will be the giveaway on that.
The Secret Word. You still have time. If you haven't read our newsletter, you still have time to read it and get The Secret Word. I want to congratulate you smart guys who got The Secret Word right. We wrote people who didn't get it correct. And I'm not to imply you weren't smart, but I just didn't think it was that hard. And we got a lot of words that
we wouldn't have thought of. When we said there's 3 secret words, we got 3 secret sentences.
Yeah, we got sentences, not words. That was so funny. But that's okay, because really the whole object of the thing was, let's see, it's a little bit of a yellow here. Let's put a few of these little yellow bits out here, the yellow oxide, and we're done. The whole object of it was to well, so you read the newsletter, so some of you read it like 30 times. Thank you very much.
We appreciate the support.
We do. We really appreciate the support. Now, here's an interesting thing. You see this red color? I'm putting it on again, and you see what happened? Red is one of those colors that if you put it on a couple times, it's happier. It's just one of those colors that doesn't show up very well. And so it's definitely, let's see, where's my red here that I had? you definitely, well, I had it out. Where did it go now? You definitely want to do it a couple of times. Here's some red. You definitely want to paint, sometimes you can go back over your red and give it a second coat. Now look at the difference. You can come back and just a second coat of red. And when you're using the cheap paint, the red really doesn't show up. So again, red was, see, I'm just giving it just a touch of what a difference that'll make. Sometimes just going back over and touching it. And then, let's see, what else was I going to show? Oh yeah, one green leaf down here.
Baltimore would like to know, does Ginger, do you love John?
Ginger loves John, absolutely.
Does Ginger love Sammy?
Ginger loves Sammy too. Ginger really loves John. just in case there was any doubt about it. Was there any doubt? None of you had any doubt about that, did you?
Apparently I did.
John and I started out as business partners, and we're really good friends. And we started out with a great friendship, and it's really, I guess you'd have to ask the question. The question is, does John love Ginger?
Oh, yes. Yes, I do.
See, there you go.
Where do you learn about the game, secret words, and other things you guys are doing? We have a lot of new people out here tonight. Again, thank you for joining us. Best thing to do to get the newsletter is to go to gingercooklive.gallery, scroll down to the bottom, or if you join the forum, you will be enrolled in our newsletter. We do not blast you with a bunch of newsletters. We're lucky to get one out every month.
we mean to get, the plan is to get them out all the time. We just never do, right? So, all right, there's the white. All right, there's our picture. And I wanted to show you one thing, too. Yeah, so please join it. Then you'll get a newsletter, and if something interesting happens, we'll let you know. But people are winning a painting. If you get the newsletter, and you could write us, you can use the contact us form, too, and say, can you please send us a newsletter? And we'll send you one if you didn't get one. Because you have till
the 11th.
You have another week to find the secret words and enter in it to win that painting.
Yeah, the secret words are, as Judy wrote here, they're off-the-wall words that absolutely nothing to go with the content.
Yeah, they don't mean anything. They're just thrown in there. They mean nothing. We just threw in some words, and we just wanted you to read the newsletter. I'm sorry, because the industry average is like 2% are open, and we've got, out of 2,000 newsletters,
we're up over 50%.
We're over 50%. Woohoo! Right? I mean, that's huge. All right, I want to.
We spent a lot of time writing these things.
John, can you show me real quick before we sign off? Do you have the note card? I want to show you this.
Do you want me to go get the note cards?
Yeah, can you? All right. I wanted to just show you this because it's come up. This is a little note card that I did. I painted today, and I can take it into my laser printer or regular manual printer, and I could print something on the inside or handwrite it. Okay, and this was hand painted, and it came up that somebody said, well, how do you use acrylics as watercolor, and can you use them as watercolor? When acrylics first came out in the 60s, all the books on how to use acrylics were like watercolor, but the difference between acrylics and watercolor is, while you can use acrylics like a watercolor, that if you watch one of the YouTube videos on watercolor, you could use your acrylics. The thing is, you can't wake them up. Once they're dry, well, with the rubbing alcohol, maybe a little bit, you can't really lift them. They're settled, it's a done deal. So, but you can get that sort of effect on paper. But in a video I'm releasing on Monday, it'll just be a regular video, no stories, no nothing, kind of a 30, 40-minute video on how to do this. My daughter Cinnamon's going to release at the same time a video on watercolor and using acrylics like watercolor, and I am too. We just thought it might be a fun thing because a lot of it came up. And the genesis of it was that my sister, who was 94, my half-sister, passed away a couple days ago. And, she was 94, so we're not sad. She wasn't ill or anything. She just sat in her chair one day and just didn't wake up. So my brother-in-law and I are close, and I wanted to write him. I just didn't want to send him a Hallmark card. Didn't want to send him, something. So I went ahead and I was going to hand paint him a card, and these are inkjet cards, glossed by Strathmore. Strathmore is a company that you'll see in the art stores all the time, and they have like watercolor cards and note cards and stuff. And I'm going to show you in the video on Wednesday. We'll probably release it around 9 in the morning. It'll be up about 9 in the morning Central Time. I'm just going to show you how I did that card, and I did it twice. The first time I wasn't happy with it, so I did it again. So I'm going to show you what I didn't like, and how I was able to do it a second time. Anyway, that's going to be, so if you wanted to, paint along or something, I'm giving you a heads up warning on that. So it'll be
warning.
Not warning, but heads up. That's what I would do. Heads up. for that. And so then the last thing we're going to do is sign this.
Are we done?
We're done.
Wait a minute. It's just 1 hour and 9 minutes.
I know. Isn't that
That's
just
not
extraordinary?
normal. That means I might get last week's lesson up.
Yeah, this is not. This was pretty good, you guys. And now I might, if I've got a little bit of paint left now, see on my canvas now, I might just go around, see, and kind of clean it off on my brush. This is pretty easy to do, right?
That way you get more paint on your fingers too.
And well, look, yeah, I could, but see, look, that's pretty good. And for those of you who are using the new ticket system to send me in your art, I just brought my computer into Apple today. Even though it's 3 years old, my Apple iMac, which is where I use to do the critiques, it's getting a new screen. We took it in last week, and they put a new screen on, and then it was the wrong one. It didn't work, so they said we have to order it again. So we dropped it off tonight. I'll have it back tomorrow night. So I won't. If you haven't seen any ticket stuff from me, I did a bunch before we left, right? But if you haven't seen any ticket stuff from me,
hang in there.
Hang in there. When I get it back, I'll be sure to catch up and tell everybody. But you're all doing a great job, and
Nicole would like to know: can Ginger do a painting with loons? Loons. That's a bird? Isn't that a duck?
Loons.
Yeah.
Well, we haven't had a lot of requests for birds, but Nicole, are you up? You want us to do it on the website? As a member painting. Do you think about that? Judith Guitar, wrote me and said that she really wanted more buildings, that she'd like to know more about.
Well, I'd like to have more buildings too.
So
I'm still waiting for my barn and tractor.
Oh, you in the tractor? Oh, gosh, you in the tractor. All right. So
I will have my supporters support me, please. All right, tractor.
So here we are. I think we did pretty good. Don't you guys think so?
Wait a minute, because you're over there, up here.
I think we did pretty good, right?
Yeah.
So there's our picture, and there's our daisies, and I think that's fun.
You haven't signed it yet. Oh, you see, you have a yellow one, the first one, down on the floor, down on the table there.
That was a green leaf?
Oh, yeah. Could you splash one of those down there for us?
Oh, yeah. I guess I could take I was going to take a little brush and do something with it. I've forgotten what it was.
You were going to sign your name.
Well, yeah, I was going to do that. All right. I wanted to use the pen, but the pen's white, so I can't use it. So, all right. So if I sign my name, and I guess we can do that. Can I answer any awesome questions before I hang up? Do you have any great questions?
Before you hang up, what do you want, a phone now? Thank you, caller, for calling in. We have one more time for one more caller.
I love it.
Yeah, we have one. How do we make Southern Ocean Blue again? I keep forgetting.
Southern Ocean Blue you can make with phthalo green and then phthalo blue and white.
Phthalo green, phthalo blue, and a touch of white.
Yeah, and white. And you can make it. Yeah, so that's how you make it. And then somebody wrote me on Facebook and said, and honestly, she private messaged me and she said, by the way, I want to know how to start a painting party. Listen, that's not a conversation you have on a private message. How to start a painting party business? Are you people kidding me? They sell franchises for that. That's not, the first thing is...
That's $1 million business.
That's $1 million business. And even then, I can tell you one of the secrets, though, have paper towels, have your materials on hand. The company I worked for 7 years, he'd sit there and say, we're out of red paint, make it work. I said, make what work?
When the whole painting's red.
Well, you can make it work. I said, are you nuts? Why are you complaining so much? You really think so? You think I'm complaining a lot? You haven't seen complaining. Let me talk about it. I cannot, if you don't give me white paint, I can't make it work. There's none of this make it work stuff. Finally, I was, less kindly, because I would get so frustrated, I would have extra paper plates in my car and paper towels. I'd have everything in my car. And if it push came to shove, just for myself, so I just didn't get wildly upset and hysterical, I'd bring some stuff and then send you a big bill. Good luck with that. But anyway, that was painting parties, huh? Well,
if that's what you want to do, yeah. If that's something you want to do, by all means, go for it.
That's it, yeah.
Hey,
yes.
They want to see a self-portrait by Ginger and maybe a portrait of Cinnamon.
Oh, portrait of Cinnamon? You guys like the one I did of Honey, right? I think I have another little curly thing here, right there, like that. Another little thing here.
I don't see that on the...
Well, I saw it, so I'm putting it in. See,
well, I don't see it on...
I have good eyes, right?
I'm looking at the picture you gave us.
I see it right there, see? Right there. Oh, there it is. All right, so then a little bit of greeny, yellowy, greeny thing right here. Yeah, with the leaf, right?
Yeah.
There. All right. So there we are. That's it, you guys. Thank you for thanks for coming.
Oh wait.
and
Cheryl
playing.
wants to know, Ginger, what angle brushes should I get? I mean, the sizes should I start with?
All right. If you only have you've
Limited
got to
budget.
have a 3/8 inch and a 1/4 inch angle brush, and then go to a 1/2 inch if you can.
Yep.
You got those three. In fact, if I had my druthers, I'd have about 5 of each, because they
Yeah.
wear out occasionally. Those are the ones you really, really want, and you want them in the ruby satin silvers because they keep the fine edge. Those are the ones. And if you go to the brush guys and go to the teacher page and find, Ginger Cook, and then pick out the brushes, and you type in on the discount code, it's Ginger Cook, all one word, okay? So why don't you zoom it back up to me for a second, John?
Zoom it
back up to me.
I can
so
zoom
say
that.
goodbye to everybody before we say goodnight.
Wait a minute.
And,
there you are. There you are. You're
all
on.
right. So say that you want to type in Ginger Cook, all one word, and they will give us a 5% discount off the brushes. I do that too because that makes the difference. 5% here, 10% there, all that stuff makes the difference. So here's our picture. I'm going to hold it up. I think that came out really nice. Hope you guys had fun. I think you're going to have fun painting it. And of course you could do this bigger. We did this 8x10, but you can do it bigger, okay? And we really appreciate you guys, and we thank you very much. If you'll share these videos, put them in playlists, and share them, and share us what you're doing, ginger.cook.92 on Facebook. Love to hear what you're and view what you're painting. Thanks, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night we'll be back
7:30
live, 7:30 p.m.
Right after Angela, who will be on at 6.
Angela's on at 6. That's not the right thingy.
Yeah.
That's right. I'm wrong.
Okay.
I'm trying to do the sign off.
Yeah.
I gotta
And
find my
hopefully-
sign off.
And I don't know if I'm going to do another live one on Saturday, and I haven't checked in with the kid. Cinnamon comes up with these things, and I'm going, oh, okay, all right, I can do that. Thank you.
Haven't heard from the kid yet, so okay. All right, so once again, we're out for tonight. Thank you very much for joining us on another exciting episode with Ginger Cook. We'll be back tomorrow evening at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. We'll have the room made up. You can set yourself an alarm clock so you'll be able to keep track of that. Sammy, you have any last words of wisdom? All quiet there, huh, buddy?
All right.
He's going to have to tell us what's going on.
Coming soon, John, with Sammy.
He's got to be doing something. Him and his buddy.
Say
All right,
goodnight, John.
Good night, John. Good night, Ginger.
Say goodnight, Ginger.
Good night, Ginger. Night, Sammy.
Night.